for August 3rd.
Not be welcome there.
Oh, that's all good.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we will call to order the Architectural Board of Review for August 3rd, 2026, and we will begin with roll call, please.
Okay, here we go. Chair Anderson,
Here.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Here.
Board Member Anderson,
Here.
Board Member Black,
Here.
Board Member Noon,
Here.
Board Member Six,
Here.
and Board Member Soffren. Ah, he's absent. Thank you. We have quorum.
Okay, we will begin with public comment. So any member of the public may address the board for up to 2 minutes on any subject within its jurisdiction that is not on today's agenda.
Upon checking on Zoom, I do not see any attendees currently for public comment. Let's see, hold on one second. We just have two. Hold on one second. Go. We have a Carlos Ramirez for general public comment. Can you hear
Good
me?
afternoon.
Yes, okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Hi. Yeah, good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. My name is Carlos Ramirez. I'm a resident and homeowner here in Santa Barbara. Firstly, thank you for the opportunity to speak today in support of the proposed project at 2940 Delavina Street. I am in support of this project moving forward. From what I understand, the design has a modern aesthetic that fits well within the neighborhood. I think that this is a positive direction for this particular stretch of Delavina. I also want to voice my support for the short-term rental component. Santa Barbara's hotel inventory is limited and expensive, and this project offers a valuable, more accessible alternative for visitors to our community. Beyond that, I'd note that this location sits close to several well-known and anchoring neighborhood businesses, notably Handlebar Coffee, Los Agaves, Trader Joe's. They're all steps away from this particular Delavina project. It has potential to bring more foot traffic to those businesses. It's also worth mentioning that Delavina is a Vision Zero priority corridor, with the city investing in crosswalks and bike lanes to make this stretch safer and more walkable. And this project sits right in the middle of that effort. So, yeah, thank you for your time. I hope the board will give this project favorable consideration. Thank you for your service to Santa Barbara.
All right, thank you. This is general public comment, so any items that are not on today's agenda, but we will make note that that was for item number 1.
Thank you so much.
Okay, please, if you have a raised hand, but you're speaking for item 1, we haven't actually gotten there, so,
I can help. You can save your public comment for the item when it's there, but if we have any other members from the general public that want to make any general business public comment, that's fine. Just don't, it's not for the scheduled item. So do we have anything, Ms. Gu?
no, we do not have any submitted for general public comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we will close general public comment, move to the approval of the minutes from the full board meeting on July 20th.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. Minutes are up on the screen.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
We have to open for public comment
Before discussion?
for the minutes before a motion is made.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Then we will open up public comment for general business B, the approval of the minutes from July 20th.
Okay, here we go. I did not receive any public correspondence for minutes, and I did not receive any speaker slips so far for that particular subject. And also, upon checking Zoom, I do not see any raised hands. And here it goes back to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, we'll close public comment for item B. So now do we have a motion?
I so move.
And I so second.
Okay, great. Any discussion from the board? Okay, let's take a vote, please.
Okay. Here we go. Chair Anderson,
I will abstain because I was absent.
okay. Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
And Board Member Soffer, of course, is absent. Thank you.
Okay, item C, approval of the minutes from the consent meeting on July 20th.
Thank
And
you.
then we can open up public comment for this
Yeah.
item. Okay.
Okay, for public comment for consent on July 20th, I have not received any speaker slips for this topic. I have not received any public correspondence that was submitted, and upon checking Zoom, I do not see any raised hands. Thank you.
Okay, we will close public comment for item C, and do I have a motion from the board?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote.
Here we go. Chair Anderson.
I'll abstain.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Whalen.
Yes.
Board Member Anderson.
Yes.
Board Member Black.
Yes.
Board Member Noon.
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
And Board Member, of course, Soffer is absent. Thank you.
All right, moving on to the ratification of action taken on the consent calendar for today, August 3rd.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. We had 5 items today. First item, 217 Anacapa Street. Received project design and final approval as submitted. Along item B, 3775 Modoc Road, also received project design and final approval. Items C, D, and E were all heard together. It's a parklets, and that was given project design and final approval as well. Thank you.
Okay, here we go.
Do we have to
Okay,
make a?
Chair. Oh, I'm
No.
sorry. Go ahead.
We can just,
We don't have to ratify the actions?
we do need to ratify, but we don't need to do public comment.
Right. Okay, so I was going to ask for a motion.
I would so ratify.
Second.
Okay.
I have a comment. We did make a recommendation that on items C, D, and E, that the landscape material proposed be reevaluated for its viability.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, here we go. Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Whalen,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
Yes.
Board Member Six.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, now we can move on to the scheduled items for today. So item number 1 is a new item for concept review. This is 29. What?
Sorry.
Oh
Can
my
we-
gosh.
Yeah, we need to just do the
Sorry.
last 2. You're all good.
Yeah, I'm just too excited. All right, announcements, requests by applicants for continuances, future agenda items, or appeals.
No announcements from staff.
Okay, and then any subcommittee reports? Nope. Okay, now item 1. Come on down. 2940 De La Vina Street. This is a proposal for the demolition of the existing canopy and storage sheds, conversion of the existing office building into 7 short-term rental units, construction of a 1-story, 999 square foot real estate office building and a 1-story garage. Proposal includes an open-air spa enclosure, landscaping, and hardscaping, and 11 on-site parking spaces. No final appealable action will be taken place at this meeting. Project compatibility findings will be required for project design approval. And we don't have anything from staff, right? Nothing on this,
No
okay.
items from staff. Just for the applicant, the second tab is the supplemental material that was submitted last week. So the second tab, you're on the first tab, the second
Okay,
one.
great,
is
thank you.
The other stuff, yep.
Great.
Comments from the last meeting? in
This is
September?
a new item. We're up here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So please introduce yourself. You'll have 15 minutes to walk us through your project.
Great, thanks, Lauren. My name is Michael Holliday. I'm the architect with DMHA. With me is our client and owner of the property, Daniel Zia. This project is for him and the STR, and then our landscape architect, Guillermo, with Blue Studio. So everybody will be presenting a little bit today. So, but I want to ask Daniel, because this is his vision and his company and his property. So why don't you maybe make a few comments about sort of your vision for the site and the architecture and the design that we're hope to present to you today.
Absolutely. So my name is Daniel Zia. I'm the developer of the property. We're developing it specifically for a residential real estate office space in the front. We've occupied the space for 4 years. If you guys have driven by, you are fully aware that it is the ugly duckling on the block. And for 4 years, we have been looking for a path to proceed that is economically feasible for us to develop the space into something beautiful. That's kind of a crowning feature of the block, and with some of the sidewalk improvements that are required for future projects. We have been told that we are going to be the first to do a lot of those improvements, which hopefully will anchor that top part of De La Vina and kind of carry on down. The building shares a zero lot line with a modern contemporary flat roof structure that's already adjacent to it. And so because the two structures are going to be sandwiched together in the front there, we felt strongly that a flat roofed modern contemporary front facade for the office looked the best as a pairing there to kind of, as the buildings will essentially be sandwiched together there. In the back, there are 7 short-term rental units. It's been in our heart to provide additional short-term rental stock for Santa Barbara for quite some time. This zone in particular is particularly, I'd say, near and dear to our heart. I've spent some time, unfortunately, in Cottage Hospital for prolonged periods of time, and have friends that have also done that. There's such a density of surgery centers and medical office. There's so many people that come to this part of Santa Barbara for different operations as well as sustained care, and I can't tell you how many times we have been told, hey, we wish there was an option for short-term residential stays closer by where we could visit our friends and loved ones in the hospital or after post-recovery, but that we don't have to necessarily be on site with them, that we have just the spot that's just a little ways away. So we wanted to create something beautiful. All the units are single level, they're spacious, they're about twice the size of other hotel rooms. We hope to keep the cost very affordable so people can come and do that and just be within walking distance of all that kind of medical care.
Great. And your real estate office will be there front and center
Correct.
as well.
Yep, that's that 999 square foot building up front. We absolutely want to work there. We are a kind of a scrappy, smaller residential real estate team, so we're 10 agents and some staff member. We're not in the office a lot, so we don't need a lot of space. So a lot of what we've created is space that is more conducive for an agent that comes in for a couple hours at a time. You see little call rooms and things like that. So it's all kind of very open, and then it opens to a communal patio that's shared with the short-term rental units. There's a mix of private patios as well as public space so that we can mingle with our guests, offer them real estate service, and then also be able to, we host small little like mini home buying seminars and things like that for our clients. We want a kind of a beautiful indoor-outdoor space that kind of transitions smoothly into the inside.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. So that's just sort of the program, what we were given by the client. So let's kind of get into the context. You guys, if you know this area, I've spent quite a bit of time up there. We had our old offices up there for about 18 years, a real modern building, but this is in the immediate context. Yeah, we can zoom in, we can look at it, come back to any of these that you got questions on. This is sort of the vision that we've come up with. A lot of these are Daniel's images and ours as well, but the idea of basically something that looks a little bit different, very clean, very modern, hopefully very simple, but warm. Also, that whole area up there is really lacking in anything with architectural character. Had the site surveyed. As Daniel was mentioning, there's the existing building right next door, which is actually not shown here, is set back, and we have to set our building back. This little traditional Spanish building goes up and turns a corner here, so we're set back about 11 feet from this, and then our old office, Design Arc office, is right here, which was the a real modern building. So there's a whole kind of mix of modern and contemporary and traditional buildings in the area. We'll look at this in a little bit more detail. This is the existing the existing site with the new plan laid over it. And this is what everybody's going to have to start doing this eventually. So this building had to be pushed back. Here's the adjacent traditional building. Here's where ours is, and here's the building right next door. So like Daniel was saying, these two buildings are kind of paired together, and that's why you know, we didn't want to make this the next door building, the only modern building on the site, on that part of the street. Reorienting the site a little bit. This has been really a bit of a Chinese jigsaw puzzle to try to get everything to fit and still meet all the city requirements for parking. Essentially, you're going to come in here off of De La Vina. We got all the parking here with the landscape, a landscape buffer here. This is the essentially 1,000 square foot front office, which will be kind of the primary architectural image that you'll see. This sliding gate pockets back behind this wall here, so all during the day, this gate's going to be open with some bike parking here and a walkway that connects out to the street. And we've got our ADA, you know, accessible parking space right here, and then the main entrance to the front building right here. This little open patio area separates the front new building from the existing building. So all of this is existing. It's just being repurposed. And so these are the short-term rental units with little outdoor garden areas and a little sort of communal spa area here. So pretty simple site plan, but it's all built out lot line, dot lot line. This is all existing, and we're just pushing it out to the street as far as we can. One of the interesting things, we'll get into this a little bit more, here's just a rendering looking down on top of the building. Once we started looking at what the architectural context, it really became clear that it was not only going to be most cost effective, but sort of most aesthetically appropriate. We thought to go with kind of horizontal roofs and planes and buildings that relate immediately to the structure next door. Here is the site plan, a little bit of a zoom in on that. And this just shows the front office building. We do have a trellis that we built over this. We've got our trash and bicycle parking back here to sort of separate these two. This is going to be sealed and open air so that we don't want any of these smells coming up into this area, but it's going to be, we really had to try to work with every square foot on the site to try to make all this work. There's the rear of the site, again, kind of repurposing the existing building. I'm not going to go through too much of the site plan, but we're a tier 2, kind of able to deal with all the stormwater management issues here. And I'm going to, we'll come back to existing conditions. I'm going to let Guillermo talk about landscape when I'm all done. So I'm going to get into the architecture. This just shows these are some of the, we're opening up a couple new windows on the back side of the building, and then just kind of doing a little bit of a facelift on the existing structure. We got to get to the renderings because these are the Revit elevations, but at least you kind of get a sense for what we're looking at to try to do here is a very clean, simple building that looks as almost, here's the sliding gate. And interesting, De La Vina means of the vine. And this was the historical vineyard for back in the early 1700s and 1800s. And so Daniel's concept of naming this short-term rental the vine, sort of the vine, was to bring back some of the history. And so as we looked at some of the architectural imagery, we were thinking, how could we do that in a sense with the landscape? So I'll show you what we've been proposing. Here's a rendering of the front. I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. What we're planning on doing is taking the vines, these little trellis elements. Again, they're just landscape elements, but we want to introduce some sort of vine elements that kind of become part of the architecture on the front. Some graphics here, obviously all signage and graphics is just a placeholder at this point in time, but very simple building. This is the big mass right next door, and I've got an exhibit that's going to show you this a little bit more in context. A front wall, a green screen panel here, and again, this whole gate slides sideways, and this is a man gate. So all of this will be open during the day, but this just gives you a sense for what that's going to look like in the back. And this is inside the site, so we're trying to carry all of these architectural elements all the way through to the interior and the exterior. Go to the next slide here. Okay, yeah, this is, well, there we go. This is the concepts for the interiors is to try to green it up as much as we can. Again, these are just some quick renderings that we rendered up, but this is going to be the adjacent property. This is the adjacent structure right here. So we want to plant this out with a creeping fig, and then this panel is in front of the other building. So we're actually going to have a green screen panel that's on our property. So that whole north wall is just going to become a green element, which I think will really kind of enhance what there is right now, which is a white wall, just kind of just bright and white and not very inviting. Here's a rendering that we're looking at that gives you a sense for how we're thinking about those panels. Again, we're here for concepts, so this is just to show you really simple architecture. We're trying to, Daniel wants as much light and visibility for his real estate office as he can, so this will just be kind of a clean glazed element. It'll all be, you know, dual pane, low E. And I know we're going to have Mecco shades that come up from the downstairs. We know because I had my office there for 17 years facing this same elevation. So we had the glazing, but we had the Mecco shades came up from down below. So it was really a pretty effective way of controlling that sun and still having visibility. So this shows that walkway coming in. It gives you a sense for what that front might look like. Here's another view. Again, just looking at the materials. And again, this is for concepts, so we're showing you some renderings that show suggestions on sort of mass bulk and scale and finishes, but you know, this is sort of the vision that we have. So go for this. This is what the inside is going to look like. So that whole glass element wraps around the corner. This is going to be interior for Zia Group. This little trellis element just shades this back area. The whole patio here, I'm going to let Guillermo talk about that, is just we're removing all the asphalt and going in with permeable pavers. And then there's a view looking back. This is the remodeled existing building. So a standing seam metal roof is going over the asphalt shingles. This little parapet's covering up some of the mechanical equipment, and all of this is going to be like a TimberTech wood material with some green screen panels to just give that a sense of scale. And I think is there another drawing in here for landscape? Let's go back to I'm going to go for your landscape drawing right here, right, Guillermo?
Correct.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Guillermo Gonzalez from Blue Studio. Thank you for your time. The landscape that we propose in conceptual level is intended to complement and enhance the architecture and also soften the hardscape on the parking lot. It's quite a large parking lot on the space, so we're doing that by selecting decorative pavers that are permeable and create a pattern that makes it more like a plaza when the cars are not there. We are proposing not to have curbs, so the landscape and the hardscape of the plaza sort of mingle together and there's no separation, so it doesn't look that much like a commercial parking lot. We're adding a variety of trees to provide shade and bring the Mediterranean style architecture that we like to complement the landscape to complement the building. On the front, we have a new 4 feet wide parkway that the city is implementing through that. So we have been in contact with the city urban forest director to select the right tree. They do have a number of species, but so far correct.
Oh, thanks.
So far, we're going to have ability to add 2 more trees to the parkway. We haven't selected the final tree yet, but we're moving forward. We have grasses, and then the architecture was showing those vine trellises, so we're enhancing those trellises along the front with flowering vines that are low water use. And then in the back, we do have a series of grasses along the edges and vines on the walls and the patios. Inside the patios, we're going to make things a little bit more intimate and create a sense of a vacation spot. You know? But that's what we have so far with the landscape at this moment. With that, I would like to terminate my here.
There we go. Good.
Yeah, about 30.
So that concludes our presentation. We're here to answer any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you so much. We will open up public comment for item number 1.
For this particular item, which is 2940 Delavina Street, I do have one in-person speaker. His name is Mike Becchio, and he is present right now. He's going to be making his way up to the podium to speak. Thank you. Hey, we do have two other people on Zoom later after Mr. Biccio.
Good afternoon. My name is Mike Becchio. I live in Goleta with my wife, and we own and operate short-term rentals here in the South Coast, Goleta, Santa Barbara area. I've submitted a written letter for the board, and I want to say up front that I do know Daniel Zia professionally. Two things about this design. First, the site. The parcel today, which I've been to many times, is a storage shed, a vehicular canopy, and a cracked asphalt lot running almost to the sidewalk. Under 5% of the site's permeable right now, and the proposal brings it to 59% with a plant palette that is low water down every line. On this block of Upper De La Vina, I think it's a real gain. And from what I've seen in that entire area, this is the kind of improvement and enhancement we need to the uptown location. Second, the scale. I understand the zone allows 45 feet. They're proposing a single story, warm plaster, bronze storefront, climbing vines on Corton fins. It reads as modern, but it's modern in our materials and at our scale. On the short-term rentals, these are 7 lodging units with no kitchens on a commercial parcel, which is exactly where the city has said this kind of use belongs. And because Uptown's almost entirely zoned residential, there are very few parcels up here where I think this use could be permitted at all. And this is one of them. It does not take a single home off the market, and 2 of the 7 are drawn as accessible units as well. I love this design. I love this concept. I think it's perfect for this area. I would encourage the board to move this one forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just comment, if I can make a comment. The second PDF, there's 2 images that I didn't show you that I thought they were all combined together, but I got those other 2
Let's
pages.
do that after public comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, up next on our Zoom is Alan Sebenaler. And Mr. Sebenaler, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Hi, Chair and Board. Thank you for taking my comment. I am in support of the project. I am a resident here and also use De La Vina a lot. I kind of the ones that were mentioned earlier, the anchor tenants, I guess you could call them, Trader Joe's, Handlebar, my family's favorite restaurant, one of them, Maze Picante, grocery outlet. Like, we just are up and down this street, and it really feels like this would be a huge benefit for the street. I love the design, love the concept. I think that the walkability as well for people staying, short term is going to be huge for a lot of these businesses and the smaller businesses as well. There's a lot of ma and pa type retail all up and down the street. So I am in favor and in support of this project.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Up next, we do have Miss Sarah Wildwood. Can you hear us, Sarah?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Great. Well, I have lived in Samarkand since 1997, and I think this project is going to complement the neighborhood, and especially for me, visiting family and friends, it's really great to have a convenient accommodation within walking distance, not only of Samarkand, but of San Roque, the Upper East, Cottage Hospital, and all the shopping. And for those, visiting Cottage Hospital and surgical centers, the proximity of the vacation rentals to amenities, parks, and nature really offers a welcoming respite from the stress of medical treatments, hospitals, and institutional care. So, it really allows people to get away from that and have a really wonderful place to stay. I think the contemporary design really complements the neighboring architecture and revitalizes this historically sleepy section of De La Vina Street. I mean, when I first moved there, it was there was nothing going on. And then Trader Joe's moved in, et cetera, et cetera. But it's, you know, it's taking this kind of dilapidated, forgotten, oh my goodness, old structure and bringing it to life and bringing all that greenery there. You know, I have a dog and there is no place to walk the dog on Upper De La Vina, and this would be just this beautiful green treed area really nicely. And because the landscaping really balances and invigorates the architecture and just really is going to enhance and conform to the neighboring aesthetic of those structures. So I'm all for it.
Great, thank you.
We did receive public correspondence. You'll recognize some names. Jervis Yao, Alan Sebenaler, John Gilkison, Brian Holland, Jill Selesky, Jordan Angel, and Dia Vecchio. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We will close public comment for item number 1. And we will, you wanted to run us through?
Yeah, there's
those
two more images. I thought this was a separate file. This actually probably shows it better than anything right here. So the upper image is what's existing. And so this was kind of the challenge. Here's this modern building, the most recent building, the Ryu Medical Center that's right next door. This was the old remnants of the gas station. And then this is sort of the white, box that's next door. And then what we are proposing to do really wants to build upon the medical center to sort of create some uniformity, and this break between the two buildings helps these buildings kind of work together. So that's where we're really trying to, make a statement, and yet also give ourselves a break from the existing, traditional buildings on either side. And then this is what shows what that building is right next door. Again, this is immediately adjacent. And then some of the other buildings in the area. This was our previous office building that we renovated, an old bank building. It's got an AIA Honor Award. And then some other examples of, some recent Fatty's Pizza has just redone theirs in a modern design and some other structures. So I just thought this was a good, probably one image that helps you guys understand why we're doing what we're doing. So
Great.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will open up questions from the board. Who would like to start? Board Member 6?
I just have one small question. The ladder, the vine ladders out in front, are they within the setback or outside the setback, allowed by their nature?
Great question. They're inside the setback. It's be a landscape feature is what we're thinking. So whether it is not connected to the building, we were trying to come up with something that we had a whole bunch of design ideas. And one of the ideas was somehow integrating vines into this landscape feature. So the idea would be it would stand off with some sort of really clean element, but.
But the leading edge closest to the street is within the setback.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So the building face is behind the setback, and the awning is allowed to project into the setback, and so that's going to be an area we want.
So it isn't. So if
It's
the,
encroaching the setback, yeah.
Yeah,
it's encroaching in the setback.
yeah,
And so the vine ladders and the canopy are within
yeah.
the
The
setback.
canopies are allowed to project into the setback, and the vine.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. So
Thank
it's
you.
something we want to get your input on, for sure.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Yes, thank you, Chair Anderson. Let's see, first, what is the material of the sliding gate?
It's going to be a metal, it's probably, we like the idea of a Core 10 color, but it's not going to be, it's going to be probably a pre-finished painted metal.
That was my assumption, that it
Yeah.
would match the other materials. Let's see, and could you go to the elevations on sheet A201? It was image 21 in our set.
Go to this one. I guess I got to close, let me close out of this one. Close tab.
Yeah, please don't do that. Just click on the next one.
That's what I was trying to do.
There's the mouse too, if it's easier.
That's the one, so we want to open this one, or, what happened here?
Here he comes to save the day.
Save the day.
While he does that, may I make a comment about those vine panels that might be relevant?
Not yet, thank you.
Voila.
Yeah, you just have to click on it. Yep.
Okay, what sheet did you want, Dennis?
A 201.
201. Yeah. Getting there. 204.
Was the elevation. More, here it is.
There we go.
The second one, 03, is that the?
Thank you. Is that this is
That's the back of the building that faces the
Adjacent.
alleyway.
And that on your other view, your proposed view, that's all landscaped?
Other view, which.
Well, your rendering of the proposed project would
That was
obscure
interior.
that whole wall with landscape.
That's correct.
And is that on a grill system that is on your property?
That the wall is on our part of the
Oh.
wall. Let's go to that elevation there. Here we go. Yeah, so this part,
That one.
I'll zoom in a little bit. This part of the wall is on our property. It stops right there. This building sets back about a foot, and so we're going to build a grill that runs along our property. So the idea would be a seamless, creeping fig vine wall that
Okay.
looks uniform.
That explains it. And my last question is the replacement area of the asphalt the same as the existing? You're putting in a permeable paver. Is that area for area, or is
It's
there?
actually larger.
It's larger.
Correct, it's gonna be,
And the reason for that is?
because some of the,
Yeah.
if we go to the existing plan, some of the elements along the front are being removed. I think it's gonna be part of the parking.
Here we go.
If we go to the existing conditions, well, when you start taking into account that some of the landscape along the edge, yes, it'd be slightly smaller now. Now I realize that. But also all the walkways and everything are permeable pavements too. So
Yes.
we are removing a large amount of impervious surface.
Thank you. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Board Member Black?
Thanks. Yeah, let's stay on this picture. Guillermo, could you tell me which trees are which? I notice in your plant list, you've got what, redbud? Yes? Western redbud? That's Cercis, right?
Correct.
Okay, and olive, those two? Okay, and so I see three different symbols, so I'm curious which one's which.
At the concept level, we just. Can you turn on your thanks. I'm sorry, David. At a concept level, we just showing more or less what the intention is. We haven't identified this tree is this kind. We're hoping that the light green trees would be the olive trees and the smaller symbols would be the Cercis trees.
Okay.
But that's generally speaking at this
Got it.
level of design.
One other question then. So would you consider having additional trees in that planter along the parking lot? I mean, you've got the one in the finger, but it seems like there should be an opportunity for additional trees. You could plant them on the parking stripes and not have to worry about front end overhang, and just, have a little bit more tree massing along that boundary in front of the creeping fig, if you follow me.
That could be an opportunity, but right now we're not showing any curbs, so we have a wheel stop, and where the wheel stop ends, we stop in the paving. So between that and the back wall, we have about 3 feet plus or minus. So to have a tree there will be basically sandwiched between keeping the 18 inches of the front of the car and the wall. So you follow me, we we don't have much room. We can have the tree in, but it will be basically at the edge where the bumper of the car will be.
Yeah, I'm just suggesting that you could probably get away with planting them in the planter, but on the parking stripe, so, you won't have that
In between the
interference
two.
with the front ends of the cars. That's my point. But
Yeah.
I think it, well, that's a comment, I guess, but, well, you get my point.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I appreciate
good
that.
point.
That sounds like a really possible idea, correct.
Thank you. I'm done.
Board Member Noon?
No questions.
Board Member Anderson?
Okay, can we just zoom in on this frontage here a little bit on this landscape plan? I'm curious. So you said there's a 0 lot line, but there is a front setback, it looks like, yeah. So let's zoom in a little bit more, a few more clicks here, so we can see the actual setback. There we go, and then pan down to the street, yeah. So 10-0. So what is exactly, there's a city requirement for the parkway or whatever, what is that?
It's a De La Vina corridor street widening setback, so it's a mandatory dedication to the De La Vina corridor. So they kind of have to meet that 10-foot setback. Yeah.
But for the jog and the sidewalk, that's all city requirement? Okay. Okay, that's kind of, yeah, because I was curious. So, and then you've got I'm trying to make sense of this hatch. You've got it looks like it's a curb cut, but it's not, because you've got your curb cut on De La Vina. So what is that?
That's the view triangle.
Yeah.
The what?
The view
View
triangle.
triangle. So that when you pull out here, we've got to keep, yeah, believe me, we'd rather not have this jog in the sidewalk we pushed against the city. They're not budging on it. So that's why the whole building had to be moved back about 6 feet. So that's, and their thinking is that eventually this continues all the way down the street sidewalk, but whether that happens or not, we'll see. But we have to meet that requirement. We've already had extensive conversations with city planning on that. But essentially, so our sidewalk jogs, goes in along here, and I think it'll be quite nice, this parkway here and then the new street trees out here in front. But this view triangle, that's all that is. That's just designating that when cars come in and cars go out, we've got a nice throat here. And then this gate will be open during business hours, so people will be able to drive in and park.
Can you just explain that it's not paved and that it's just nothing higher than
Yeah,
42
this view
inches?
triangle basically you can't plant something in there that blocks the view when you're sitting in the car. And that's all that triangle designates.
Okay. And then, so those column pillar things, those are the vertical screens. So then what are all those circles at the right where the property line is? It looks like bollards or something.
Here?
No, they're
Or here?
faint gray.
These?
Those are the lights that we were thinking about it.
Oh, the bollards, these right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to eliminate those. We don't need them. It was just an idea of some lighting. We're trying to, the idea is to create an ambiance and a presence there. So if you're referring to these little dots,
Yeah.
yeah, those were some suggestions on lighting, which we don't need to have. So I think we're probably going to go away. So this is concept level, even though I know we're looking at light fixtures.
Okay, and then can you flip to the front elevation, the street front, or the render? Probably the elevations. So, yeah, the De La Vina street elevation.
There you go. So you want the Revit elevation or the rendered elevation?
This one's fine,
Yeah.
yeah. And then if you zoom in on drawing number 1 or 2. So what is, because I know Board Member Whalen was asking about this. So what are some of these, well, I can see the plaster, but what's the material of like the cantilevered canopy awning? Is that a metal as well?
Yeah, the materials, and we'll come back to you with a color materials board. This is all going to be a steel trowel finish plaster, painted, maybe an integral color so we get a little bit of depth and texture there. All of the materials are an anodized bronze, which kind of matches, picks up. The building next door has a lot of anodized, clear anodized, which we think is a little harsh. So we've gone with a kind of a medium bronze finish. This element would be a cantilevered steel canopy that just projects out the maximum allowed 3 feet over that to provide some shade. So it's trying to be very intuitive. The windows are shaded, the building is box, just very simple forms, and then that's carried all the way through into the interior and all the way around the building. So trying to keep it real simple.
So for the site wall, that's plaster, but so is the plaster coming all the way down into the landscape?
Yeah, this would be plaster over here on the site wall here. This plaster would come all, as well as these two pilasters with some, the dark sky fixtures that just downlight there. This whole metal sliding gate slides completely out of the way. And then this is all plaster, and then this would be a green screen panel, which picks up on what's happening on the inside. Again, just trying to balance the mass, sort of bulk and scale of this element, and we felt like it really needed something over here. Also, this will hide the gate all during the day.
Yeah. Okay, and then I guess my last question right now is just, were there precedents you looked at? Any precedent projects?
Pardon me, the precedents?
Yeah, any precedent projects you looked at?
Yeah. I'm going to flip back over to, do I need to close out of this one?
No, just click it.
Okay, I'm going, do not do that.
I think you're using the wrong side of that.
Oh,
Here, I'll just pull it up over here real quick.
to the rescue. Yeah, there we go. So this image this is the building immediately next door. So it's the Ryu Orthopedic Center. And so this was really when Daniel was trying to figure out what do we want this thing to look like. He goes, I like that building, and that's the sort of image of his company, and this is where he wants to tie in with. So both of these buildings being set back and separated by the parking from the adjacent buildings seemed to make a lot of sense to us. And then these were some of the other buildings that are in the immediate area. This is right around the corner. So this is the other side of the this is our old Design Arc office building right here, and then this is what it's like right now. So there's the Spanish building. Here's the Ryu Medical Center. This is the old gas station site. So all of this is coming out. The building back behind you can see, which is going to remain. And then this is, our rendering on what it's all going to look like when it's all said and done. So both of these buildings kind of work together and look like they're part of the same idea, separated by a parking lot. So we felt like it was intuitively made a lot of sense the way that we kind of adjust the mass, bulk, and scale. So as far as a context study.
Okay. That's all my questions.
I just have one small question. You had mentioned a timber tech material. Is that only being used inside the courtyard and not on the?
Yeah, we're not sure which. There's Ipe, Mangara. I'd love to use a real natural, sustainably harvested tropical hardwood, or the timber tech, which we've used that quite a bit. It's a synthetic wood that looks like.
But that's just in the courtyard.
In the courtyard, not
Okay.
out there in front. Yeah.
Okay.
Here, the materials would be plaster, steel painted to look like a Corten steel. The windows would be, we're going to go with a Selexia green, so there'll be a little bit of that green tint. It's not going to be clear glass, but it'll look just like the rendering here.
Okay, thanks. And Board Member 6, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, just for my understanding, are you saying that, there's a lot of buildings, both sides of this section of De La Vina that are right on the property line. Are you saying that the city is going to condemn existing private space to get their desired setbacks, or I don't even get it. Like, for example, the building to the left-hand side. Does it take a full demolition of that building to?
Correct. I can comment on that because I was involved in this project right next door here. So this building is out there. If we came back for a new building that was going to renovate that,
Yeah.
they would make us move it back. But because it was existing to remain, they couldn't make us tear it down.
Incredible, okay. And
In
just
this case, any new buildings all up and down De La Vina will have to have this parkway in front.
for, what, a 50% remodel or whatever, all that game, yeah, okay. Enough said. And just one other, your glass on the front, is that butt glass? You have no divisions between
Yeah,
your
no,
your
it actually,
module?
it's glass panels, and we've shown the mullions in here, so it's not gonna, there's, at the walls, and if you look at the floor plan, these mullions actually match what's going on in the walls. And then we're trying to go with a clear glass between them, but we did show a mullion in there, which would be a medium bronze. Could look great being
So
butt glass.
the nature of the vertical divisions on the glass is,
That's what we're showing, just
no,
vertical.
the nature of them are bronze?
Yeah,
Standardized
they're
bronze?
would all be the same.
Okay, and
Inch and a half, minimal. We
okay.
don't want them thicker than they need to be.
so that will read as one large
Yeah.
glass plane with mullions.
Exactly. Our idea was just where we have the offices. Daniel wanted that transparency so people can look in and see the people moving around. And so we said, well, let's just open up that. And then the rest of the building is just simple box, plaster box.
Thank you.
Anything else? We'll go to comments. All right, let's go into comments. They're here for concept. So you want to kick us off? Board Member Six.
Yeah, I think it's a very nice design, great site plan, great overall project, a lot of thought to the greenery, a lot of positive things. I think it's terribly illogic that you have to be back this far, but, I'm sure you've graveled with that. I can't completely agree that, I did a Google Maps tour. I've spent a lot of time on De La Vina, and there's only a few, and you've pointed them out, obviously, of contemporaries. And I think that, the flat roofs, the materials, I think, it doesn't have to go overboard, but there has to be some sense of a very stripped down, mass-based architecture here. And I don't know what it would be now that these columns of vines are inside the property line. That would be nice to have those as mass-based columns, but I know where your trickery is here, or your opportunities are. Sorry. But somehow that, at least I think the back buildings are perfectly fine the way they are, but this front building just got to have that little bit of sense of basic Hispanic sense to it, whether it's in a small, the mass-based is one way to see it. But I think that it's not compatible with where the rest of the majority of this block is. It's vastly Hispanic, and I don't think that, I think that we need to celebrate that and have it consistent. When we have a consistency up and down the street, I think that's our job, to be compatible and be consistent. And I don't think it's there yet. And it won't take much in this front building to have that sense. For example, I think instead of this horizontal metal gate, maybe that is it's a laser cut panel that has some kind of sense of Moorish openings or something that just senses slightly. I know you're excited about contemporary, but just senses slightly the more traditional wrought iron. It doesn't have, not that material, but somehow have just a sense of that tradition or that language. I think also, if you carefully look at the overhangs around your front building, I realize that the depth of your canopy above the front windows is limited by your setback. But I think there's one rendered view that sees the side of this front building, and can you go there? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Make sure I do this right here now. There's the Revit
Well,
elevations.
Yeah, the rendering, I think,
Okay.
was showing the side, front.
Let me shrink this back down. There's the front, and then,
Yeah, but the
is
side.
this the one you're thinking?
Nope, side front, from within the property. Yeah, there you go. I think that continuing that canopy around with your limitation of the 3 feet in the front is making this terribly boxy looking, and you could, because you don't have the limitations you have in the front, that this could be significantly extended, and it would help that elevation. You understanding what I'm saying?
Could you
Okay,
clarify
so-
that again?
Okay, so you are all 3 sides of this front glazed mass.
Right.
The front side, the street side, and these 2 sides, you're consistently 3 foot out with your canopy.
Yes.
These 2 sides don't have to be limited by that 3 feet, and they should be extended significantly more to get, especially because that's.
Oh,
a
okay,
less-
so you're saying extend this
Yes,
out?
Yes, on those
Could be.
2 sides
Yeah, I mean, we
at
have
least.
this little trellis element here, so you're saying.
Just comments. but-
Just comments, yes. So I think that that would help a lot. But somehow, Mr. Holliday, that this front in its detailing somewhere has to just dial down a little bit and get a Hispanic sense to it to be compatible with the rest of the street. Those are my comments.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'm going to pick up on some of these points. When I look at this project, I have to ask, what is it about that says Santa Barbara? I'm sure you came to the city for all of those qualities. You may know that in our city charter, Mr. Holliday has heard me say this before, that buildings are required to reflect our history. And I just don't see that now. The mass, bulk, and scale seems acceptable to me, but it seems your analysis of the street, that is from Alamar to State, has been very limited, and that I would like to see more site photos that reveal that character of the street, because I do think there are a fair number of that building type that reflects our history on that street, such as the building next door, which your firm has worked on. Even though I know Dr. Ryu, he's worked on my shoulder, I've always felt that building was kind of out of place. So I'm going to get a little personal here when I don't think that that's a good example to tear off of. Let's see. I think the bike enclosure that's at the back of the site for the residents is pretty awkward to get in and out of, but be that as it may, I'm wondering if you can't reduce some of the interior vehicular circulation area to get perhaps more diversified landscape. Do you really need that much backup and turnaround space? I would appreciate seeing more of that. And in that sense, it's kind of in an urban design, you have the potential for reflecting that Spanish colonial revival of a gate, perhaps a gatehouse, which is the new building, and an interior courtyard. I don't so much care about what happens on the interior, because that's your private space. You can render that any way you like. But I would like a stronger sense of being in Santa Barbara, being read from the street. I think that's it for me.
Board Member Black? Comments?
Me personally, I'm not as I'm not seeing this as being as restrictive as maybe some others have, but I kind of like the look. I mean, I understand the perspective that others have, but there are a number of buildings on the street, primary of which is the one right next door, and that thing is a significant example because it is 2 stories there, and it's quite massive. As your old building, I think, is a couple stories too, at least.
2-story
At
mass.
least the facade, yeah. So it doesn't really bother me that much that it may not have as much of a Mediterranean edge as maybe some would like, but I think the fact that there's opportunities for a fair amount of landscape with that setback, I think will really soften the impact of of what's being proposed here. Also, I think I've already made that comment about look for the opportunity to have more trees in the parking lot. I think that can be done, and I think it'll just contribute significantly to the experience of the rental units and then the real estate office as well, just to have more landscape back there. So I think those are my comments.
Board Member Noon?
Yeah, I would agree with previous comments, although I do think it's an improvement in the reference to contemporary buildings. I think this is definitely an improvement over those. I don't know that those were great examples, but again, I agree with the comments of the compatibility, just question the compatibility of it. The landscaping does help significantly soften that, but I think I'm on the same page with the other board members.
Board Member Anderson?
Oh, yeah, I think the site planning is good. The courtyard theme, obviously that is rooted in a long history of Mediterranean and Moorish and Islamic courtyards. So that's, I do see some, some spirit of the Mediterranean ethos in that, in the way the site has been planned and kind of arrayed around a courtyard with the mountains, and it's very obvious in your renderings that that's the focus, the background and everything. I do kind of sympathize, and before Board Member 6 spoke, actually that was the first thing that came to mind when I looked at this project, is the mass-based. I think that is a defining feature of, in terms of contextual architecture. I think regardless of the particular history, particular historical narrative that is being told, the mass-based architecture is what kind of does feel very unique to the experience of being here. And I think this project kind of doesn't quite have that mass-based feeling to me because of the use of the glass and the metallic and the trellises. And I get the whole De La Vina thing, and that's good. But like when I look at this perspective, there is a little bit of a fussiness, in my opinion, to the use of the trellises. And I think, in my view, it could be simplified a little bit, both in the amount of materials that are being used on this and the actual architectural language. For example, the glass could be set back. Typically on a lot of these like traditional projects where the walls are thick, the windows are recessed, and so it gives it this like feeling of this big white chunk, and the windows are set back deep in shadow. And I think that the use of the recessed windows, that is what helps the feeling of that kind of, the city is carved of one block of white plaster kind of thing. And in this project, it starts to get like, there's parts of that a little bit here when you kind of look at the, the roof, the band of white around it. But I don't think there's kind of enough of that feeling in my view. And the other comment I have is just like the street frontage. I think the landscaping is a little bit confused as well. Like it looks like there was just like a lot of grasses plopped down, but like it'd be nice to kind of really design the frontage better, especially if there's this jog in the sidewalk and that has to be this like planted out greenway. I think it needs a little more care in the landscape design. And the other comment I have is looking at this corner, I think that gate, the pedestrian gate connection to the corner post on the, where the corner is a little strange too, because I would think you would either want to set the gate back from that to see the corner, or to do something that felt like that connection were celebrating that corner a little bit better. But yeah, I just feel like overall there's a little bit kind of too much going on in my opinion. And if it, and I get its concept, and maybe if it could go through another round of kind of just a little bit of clarity and simplification, but overall, I think it's good.
Okay, and my own comments would be that I feel like a soft modern here is appropriate, so I'm a little opposite of some of the board members. And I do hear what they're saying, so maybe if you study the proportions of that front building, maybe make it bigger, like taller, maybe bring down the corner, set back your storefront. That can actually improve some of the feelings I think they're reacting to. I like the vertical vine trellis things that you are offering, and I think in my opinion, instead of trees inside, maybe adding some of those, just kind of keeping it cohesive interior. I would also study the proportions of the gate, maybe consider a laser cut paneling versus just a painted metal. And I think there is some, I think you can also study like the parapet details, and that can maybe help reinforce the Spanish style that is also seen on De La Vina, but could still be in a contemporary way. So it's more of this like mixture and a soft modern, because I don't see this as super modern in my opinion. But and I think the material palette's great, and I think that the site plan is efficient as mentioned, and I am in support of the project. So who else has follow-up comments, or who would like to make a motion?
Can I make just a comment? I think when they come back, if you could provide, sorry, when you come back, you could provide some additional photographs of the street and the other buildings besides just the, you know, the three that you saw as a model. But because I'm wanting to get more of a sense of how Mediterranean the rest of De La Vina is.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Great.
For an indefinite continuance back to the full board with following comments that this project is the site plan and the fact that it's one story and not aggressive 5-story beast. It's wonderful, and appreciate the mass bulk scale, the site planning, the sensitivities to materials, and it's really a good project. Second, I think that there is opportunities here to tone down the modern contemporary massing of the front building to, as discussed, introduce more sense of mass-based architecture, perhaps a contemporary but traditional molding that's at the top of the parapets, at least in the front building here. Another one, a suggestion that the side and courtyard facing canopy of the front glass building be extended to help shade and to get a better, a less boxy look. There was a suggestion to rethink at least this front gate with some sense of some hint of Spanish or Moorish pattern to it. It might be the thing to help. I'm wandering now, so stop at that. What else did I miss? Well, the flat roof and so forth, and the interior metal roof and all the interior materials used are fine. It's just this front building that needs to come a little closer to sympathizing, harmonizing with the majority of the De La Vina streetscape at this section of De La Vina. Have I missed anything?
Well, I would, go ahead.
More trees in the,
Yeah, in the parking lot. Just,
oh,
Does anyone want to second the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, now under discussion.
I would like to add that there was not board agreement on the architectural expression, and that the interior courtyard landscape should be expanded and enhanced, and that the street expression, that is the facing De La Vina, should more typically express Santa Barbara in its details.
I'll concur with that addition.
Anything else under discussion?
Well, I just want to add, I wouldn't put the parapet molding on. I don't think that would look good for that, but it's going to have something, like some flashing or something, but.
I don't think parapet was in the motion.
Yeah, parapet molding, it's only a example of what could be done, but it doesn't need to be done.
Then my rubric of there was not board agreement amongst, would apply to that.
Okay, are we happy with our,
Okay. Anyone else? All right, let's take a vote.
Okay, here we go. Chair Anderson,
No.
Vice Chair Wellen,
Yes?
Board Member Anderson,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
I'm going to say no.
Board Member Nguyen,
Yes.
and Board Member Six.
yes?
Okay, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay, and I said no just because I felt like it didn't need to add specific Moorish or Spanish detailing to still be a successful project.
I would agree with that.
Oh, I thought we were voting, though, that said there was disagreement and that it would just be continued for further discussion.
We did, and I still said no.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay, so, thank you, and we will see
Thank you very
later.
much.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, we're going to take a 2-minute break.
reconvene.
All right, we're going to call back to order the ABR meeting for August 3rd. And we're going to move on to item number 2. This is a continued item for project design approval, 1922 De La Vina Street. The project consists of a new 1, 3, and 4-story mixed-use development with 39 residential units and a remodel reconfiguration of the existing non-residential areas proposed under the average unit size density incentive program and the state density bonus law. The residential units would be constructed above a ground level podium parking structure. The project includes a 1,300 square foot resident storage room, 38 vehicle parking spaces, 1 loading space, and 44 long-term and 4 short-term bicycle spaces. Access to the parking areas will be provided from the existing driveway off De La Vina Street. A lot line adjustment with the adjacent parcel was approved separately, resulting in a total lot area of 0.68 acres. The project includes 6 deed-restricted units, 3 very low income and 3 moderate income, 1 concession to allow relief from the residential parking requirements, 1 concession to allow relief from the affordable housing standards of SBMC 30.160.060, and a development standard waiver to allow a reduction in the open yard requirement. The project qualifies for an exemption from further environmental review under Section 15301, existing facilities, and Section 15332, infill development of the California Environmental Quality Act. Project design approval is requested. Project approval is subject to the project compatibility findings unless the application of those compatibility findings would result in disapproval or reduction of density of the housing development project, or condition approval in a manner that renders a housing development project infeasible per Government Code 65589.5 D and F. Project was last reviewed on September 2nd, 2025. And I believe we have our planner here.
Yes, thank you, Chair Anderson, members of the board. As you just said, this is a qualifying housing development project, so I just want to be clear about that. In addition to the language you just read around the findings, we also have strict timing requirements in terms of a decision. So we're limited to a maximum of 5 hearings within 60 days of when our CEQA determination was made. So in this case, we would need a decision by September 21st of this year. This is considered the first hearing, so I think we can manage that. But I just wanted to clarify those things. And with that, I'll hand it back to you.
Great, thank you. Well, welcome back. Please introduce yourselves and walk us through any changes or response to our comments from a year ago.
Thank you, Chair Anderson. My name is Rachel Hollander with RRM Design Group, Land Use Planner.
Bobby Walker with Walker Architect.
Katie Klein, Landscape Architect, RRM Design Group.
Thank you. It's good to be back. So the last time we were here, the project was presented for concept review. So I want to start by addressing some of the comments that you had in the concept review. And then I won't go through the whole presentation again, but then address the elevations and some of the design changes in the project. And a couple iterations ago, the project was closer to Mission Street. Since then, the project has been compacted, I think is a better word. So that's pullback from Mission Street is still incorporated into the plans, and we've kind of embraced the concept of a larger building with simplified proportions and openings. The gabled end massings that were there previously have been eliminated, and the 4th floor roof has been simplified. We wanted to make the commercial spaces consistent with the residential architecture, but also be identifiable as their own use along the street frontage. So that's why you'll see more of a commercial look, the storefront, the tile that's being used there. So it's identified as commercial, and then the residential tenants get their own kind of sense of place that is cohesive with the structure, but separate. And then there have been a lot of internal meetings about the commercial, so I can't remember where we were at previously with what how we had described the commercial. And Lauren had mentioned in the commercial, I'm sorry, board member, chair member Anderson had mentioned
that they were remodeled spaces. The tenants are moving out of that front commercial, so we're actually able to design them new, which is more of a cohesive look for the project. So in our color and materials board here, we have an off-white ivory lace that's from the City of Santa Barbara's approved colors. As I mentioned earlier, we're proposing a ceramic tile at the base of the commercial spaces, an S-tile, Spanish slick roofing, wood corbels, terracotta accents along the walls, and black anodized aluminum storefronts at the commercial. I'm going to jump past some of the code analysis, things that you've seen previously. On the site plan, one item to note is we've worked extensively with transportation and Marburg to get a project that works with the Marburg trash truck. So you'll see that incorporated a little bit into the design. And this is all the new commercial up front. This is currently a smoke shop that's staying as existing, and then 1930 De La Vina is outside of this scope of work. So I've included kind of site sections here so you can see a little bit in context the scale of the building. So section 1 shows the elevation in neighborhood context from De La Vina Street. So two stories up front, and then it steps back to that 4-story. There is that tree, the sycamore tree on the site, so as previously requested, it's kind of shown in scale. It's being removed, but it's there as a scale reference. The building elevation 2 here from Mission, you can see kind of the first story is buried underneath the grade a little bit with the parking lot, and then you can see the style of the building is kind of consistent with that corner building, the commercial building on the corner of De La Vina and Mission. And then view 3 here, this is a tough view to kind of show on paper, but I think most everybody's familiar with that drive down Mission Street towards the freeway. So you're dropping down the hill. So it's shaded here. You can see the different buildings that there's a plumbing contractor owns 3 properties going up the hill. So you can see shaded the outlines of the building. So by the time you're at the top of the hill on Mission Street, you're kind of really looking at the 4th floor, not the whole building from the top of the street. It's important to note, just because it affects elevation too, this portion of the building 13 feet back has to be 14 feet high for the Marburg truck to be able to back into the building and then exit out driving forward onto De La Vina. The 2nd to 4th floors are stacked units, and then we leave space on the roof for mechanical equipment hidden behind a parapet wall. Okay. Okay, I'll leave it on the elevations here for a second. I just want to walk through the style objectives for our project. So our project is designed in the Spanish Mediterranean tradition that helps define Santa Barbara, and especially we think De La Vina Street. So this includes smooth troweled white stucco walls, low-pitched hip roofs of terracotta Spanish style roofing, and then deep overhangs. So at the commercial, we're about 30-inch overhangs, and at the 4th floor, 18-inch overhangs on the roof. The massing is deliberately varied and asymmetrical, and the 3rd and 4th floors step back from the 3rd and 4th floor step back from De La Vina is behind a broad tile roof at the front of the project where the commercial spaces are. Punched window openings are recessed into wall planes with stucco returns and no applied trim. So included in the openings are triple arched arcaded compositions that we're doing in various locations. Complementing the massing, we have steel railings and wrought iron style, punched garage openings with corbelled corners and decorative iron sconces. And then ornamentation on the facade is intentionally restrained on the project. So this is intended to be consistent with the broad, uninterrupted, planar quality of the Spanish colonial revival guidelines, which are the defining character kind of Santa Barbara in general. A7 is just a good example to see, again, some of these street kind of affecting, or sorry, grade affecting changes. So number one here is what the view from Mission Street would be like. We've kind of created a see-through building of that commercial building. So when you drive into the parking lot of this corner commercial, you're really driving into almost like what the second floor is of our building, grade-wise. And then A7 here is showing, as you go behind the project, going up the hill, those plumbing properties I was talking about. So there's already that spot from Mission where you pull into a parking lot and the grade kind of continues to die down, and then the buildings rise up the hill beyond that. And then I'm sure you've looked at the sections already, but they just continue to illustrate kind of the stacked nature of the project. There's just a couple items I want to note in civil. I've mentioned them before in the project, but they do kind of inform the design of the project. So one is this existing historical path. There's this stormwater drain that's 9 feet down that comes all the way from the church up on Chapala Street. So the project is designed to keep that uncovered from the building, so it's not affected. And that just makes a natural place for the storm chamber over here on the side. And then, again, the civil was, I'll go to the next page to describe this actually. The vehicle maneuverability for both the existing 1920 property as well as the Marburg truck turnaround analysis. And Marburg actually did do like an on-site testing in a parking lot with a truck and laying out cones of our project. So we know it works. That's how we ended up with the 13-foot dimension. So that's all been worked out and confirmed by transportation and Marburg. And with that, I'll hand the project over to Katie.
This is the ground floor. Not a lot has changed. We more refined it along De La Vina. The goal is to really activate the street, but also keep it open. So you kind of see we're incorporating bike parking, tile benches. There's this paseo in the center that we're going to have a water feature and a tile bench, and then potentially maybe some art on that white wall that's on that existing building. You can see the imagery to the right. As you go down De La Vina, also I want to point out the same as we had before, we're adding 3 new street trees, the podocarpus, and then we have an olive tree we're adding to that courtyard on the east frontage. And this was actually a comment previously, was to have a railing instead of a wall. So now in the front we have a railing. We're hoping to have some sort of interesting design to that. And then on the back of that little courtyard, yeah, right there, we do have a wall to hide the parking. And then we snuck in some Howia palm trees in the parking area to try and help with that elevation. And then you can kind of see all those plants where the transformer is. That's chondropetalum, trying to hide the backflow in the transformer. And then at the back of the property near their trash, we also have some more palm trees. And then if you want to go to the next sheet, the floors have been slightly adjusted. We have some raised planters. We have Hymenosporum and some more Howias in raised planters with some tile benches throughout. And we're using a mix of like gray, tan, terracotta paving throughout the design. And the idea is each floor has its own kind of theme, so it's recognizable as you go up each floor. If you go to the next sheet, this is where our little rooftop area is, currently showing some built-in seating and a water feature and some olive trees, maybe citrus, to be determined. And that concludes. Happy to answer any questions.
All right. Are you good? Okay. Great. Thank you. And then we will open up public comment for item number 2.
Okay. I believe that this particular item, we had only one public correspondence on this from Strong Towns, Santa Barbara. And I do not have any speaker slips at this time for this item. Upon checking Zoom, we do not have any raised hands. And with that, I'll turn it over back to you, Chair Anderson.
Okay, thank you. And we will close public comment for item number 2 and go to questions from the board. Board Member Black, would you like to begin?
I have no questions at this point.
Board Member Noon?
A few. The mechanical well, I noticed you had a dimension of 2'9", maybe 9.5. Have you verified if that's going to work for your screening and just fall protection, all those sort of things? And I ask because I also had a question of, did you consider a higher roof slope? I think you call it 312. Just wanted to talk about that piece of the project.
The wall height has not been confirmed with MEP on that side, so it could be taller, and I think if it is, then doing a higher slope would both protect that and potentially accentuate the style of the project from, since the roof's, how high up the roof is from the sidewalk.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. You know what? These maybe these are more comment based, so I'll hold until then.
Okay. Board Member Anderson, questions?
This is for Will. So can you just tell me, because I think I was told like a year ago that I couldn't review this because of some proximity, but I don't own any real estate in the area or have no financial interest in this, so.
Don't you live within 500 feet?
Yeah, I
That's
live near
why.
the property, so am I not able to,
Oh, yeah, apologies. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, you would need to
so I'm supposed to
recuse
recuse
yourself
myself? Okay.
from this item.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm recusing myself.
He can ask questions, right? He
think he
just
was
can't
able to-
make comments or
right.
vote?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have questions?
I guess I could generate some questions, yeah. I
Well,
was
you don't
just,
have to, we'll come back to you. Yeah.
Well,
you
so-
I will if it's needed, yeah.
Yeah, if you have questions, that's fine. We can circle back. But again, yeah, you can't comment or vote, so.
Okay, just for my knowledge, because I don't have any financial interest in it, what is the conflict of interest?
It's just I think it's that 500-foot buffer. I don't know why. I can find out an answer for you.
I think it's also just a perceived bias that could be implied that we want to avoid, so.
Okay,
I'll give you an answer, yeah, as to why.
okay.
Board Member 6, questions?
Oh, yeah. So, first, on the color board, you show S-tile. Are you recommending S-tile or
Yes, at this time.
because of weight or
Weight and-
economy?
Weight and cost, both.
Okay. On the site plan, can we go to your turnaround type thing? Well, right here,
civil
yes.
one?
That's great. So there's a up and down sheet planter in kind of in the middle, yeah, right there. And I noticed at least the lower downsheet part of that is limited by the truck turnaround, but why can't that be wider and a crescent shape? And I noticed also on the landscape plan that there was no trees involved in that. Why? It seems like a super opportunity to introduce significant trees to the elevation and the landscaping and so forth. So can you explain why this landscape area is so limited?
Yeah, I'll start and then I'll hand it over as far as talking about the specific species and what can fit there. But these dashed areas on the plan, can you see the cursor on your screen here, as well as down here, are areas that we've been told by the city of Marburg we cannot have any obstruction so that the trash truck can pull in and do its maneuverability. So this We would like this to be bigger, I agree with you. It's been sized down to exactly where we were told it needed to be to allow maneuverability, to reduce the amount of turns the truck needs to take. As far as what can be planted there in that size, I'll hand it over to Katie.
Yeah, we had trees in there before. I actually fought for that planter, every inch of it. But with the Marburg truck, we were told we can't have a tree there. But I was looking at it today and I was like, maybe we can get some palm trees in there. It's small. So maybe, yeah, I think that would be a conversation we'd have to have with Marburg to make sure that that's okay.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if we need to go to the plans, but your cantilever balconies and the courtyard walkways have a very high or thick plaster base. Is that because you're extending your floor joists out to that? Or why can't those be a less deep? Why don't you go to, for instance, the courtyard elevations?
I think maybe, is this what you're referring to here? The thickness of this
Yeah.
walkway?
It's better shown on the longwise elevation of the courtyard. But yeah, that's right. So why are those, and they're independent balconies that are that deep also?
Yeah, I think you're correct there. I guess the correct word would be kind of placeholder sizes until we work with the structural team, but I think they are thicker than they need to be.
Okay. Then on the southwest, let's see here, I'm losing, let's go to the one facing Mission Street. What is that, the northwest elevation? Yes. Yeah. There's this, and in this elevation below, why this very awkward, my opinion, pitched tile roof on the far right-hand portion of that extended garage? Do you see on the very lower right-hand corner? I'm sorry, left-hand, excuse me, the other right, yeah. Why isn't that just a simple continuation of the flat roof?
There is no flat, I see what you're saying. Because we weren't actually covering this other area. So there's not a whole flat roof here and then that's being interrupted. That's just the only covered area right there.
Oh.
So I think the question would be maybe more if you just, for that isolated area, if you'd rather it be kind of a parapet and flat roof than what it
Okay,
is.
understand. On the southwest elevation, fourth floor, right-hand balcony, previously that was a deep roof that overhung that and went out to the face of the balcony. Why was that deleted?
So another thing that was here previously is that this balcony connected into the second floor structure more.
Mm-hmm.
And then it had posts going up to hold a deep balcony cover like you're describing. We thought in the office that it was too of a top heavy massing with those posts in full cover without like extra support being identified below it.
Okay, so let's go to the southwest elevation, which is the front. Now,
The southeast here?
No, southwest, the front of the street.
Oh.
Yeah. So you've got your lower floor with your arcade for the commercial, and then the windows on the second floor for the residential. Is that just a molding between the two? The first floor and second floor planes are the same?
Yeah, the idea is picturing it more as a break.
Okay. Southeast elevation. There is a box around your 3 little arched windows in the middle of the building, first floor. Seems to be a box around that, but there's no differential on the plans. Is that an error?
No, that's correct. Break in the plaster, same plane.
The verticals, I'm talking about the verticals.
These, yep.
Yeah. Those are what?
Same plane. This is the same plane as this.
Yes, so what is it? Is it a molding, that line?
No,
or
it's just a
vertical?
break in the plaster. Like a reveal, sorry.
A reveal?
A reveal.
Ah, okay.
I was misspeaking. It's
Okay.
a reveal.
All right. Okay, I think that those are my questions. Thank you.
Vice Chair Whalen?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. I'm going to stick with this elevation. Mr. Walker, when I zoomed in on those windows, they look like they had 6 panes divided. Is that truly the intention?
These windows?
Yes. They read differently on mine.
Oh, it's a casement window.
Casement?
Yeah, so divided in the middle.
With 6 panes?
Yes.
Okay. And in your introduction, this is on a completely different subject, you talked about pulling back the massing from Mission Street. Can you refresh my memory what that means? If
Definitely.
you could go to the elevations or
I'm going to describe it maybe on the site plan, or floor plan would be better. So Mission Street is
Yes.
project left here. At one point, the building was wider on the sheet, left to right. So the building actually came all the way out here to this column grid line we have where there's parking below. And so it was pulled back at one point to the right and consolidated, so more rectangular massing form.
And so that actually becomes a well to the parking,
Yes.
right? So you don't have to mechanically ventilate the parking? I'm just assuming.
Yes, based on, we haven't confirmed that with the mechanical engineer, but based on the opening percentages on the backside here, as well as this, I anticipate that it's going to be considered an open garage.
And then Ms. Klein and Mr. Walker, you referred to the passageway as a paseo. I guess I have a different interpretation. If you can go to your plan view, it's really, it looks like a walkway or a breezeway to me. If you, there you can zoom in on it. Why doesn't the paving material process from De La Vina all the way into the structure? Why does it stop there in that square? Go all the way in.
It's the right-of-way? You mean the sidewalk?
No, from the sidewalk deep into the site, and then it just stops. What's that space, and why doesn't the paving go into the parking structure as a paseo might?
Bobby?
What is that square that we're looking at?
It's a covered, was it? No, it's just a covered pathway into the project,
But
so.
it does look like there
could
is
be
a door
paving.
or a gate or some
It's an
sort of
opening.
restriction. Oh, it's an arch.
It's just an arched opening.
An arched opening, so
We're
it would
in the
be,
square now, but-
the public, as it were, could process all the way through there to the
Yes.
parking.
Yes.
Okay, those are all my questions.
Okay, I don't have any follow-up questions. Does anyone else? Okay, we will go into comments. They're here for project design approval. Board Member Black, would you like to begin?
I think generally speaking, the project is acceptable as shown. I'm going to defer to the architects for the detailed perspective, but, you know, over and above the fact that the massing is troubling to me, but that's not our purview, so I don't have any specific comments on the project.
Okay, Board Member Noon?
So I alluded to my comment just about the mechanical wells, just, you know, to take a look at that, and the height. I do think that a increase in the pitch of the roof might help visually, just an opinion. I guess I'd defer to you as the designer, and then, or the rest of the board. One question or comment, just a few things that I noticed that might affect, you know, moving forward. The trash enclosure, it looks like you've got a path that goes around the back of it for
Yes, that's correct.
residential distribution, yeah, or depositing. Is that, I came up with, or came across a comment on a project of mine that there's an ADA requirement now for the reach range. Have you accommodated that by any chance? Is that something you've come in contact with?
Specifically the reach range, no, I'll look into that, thank you.
Yep, and it looks like you've got plenty of opportunity to, you know, create a little bit of a ramp there to accommodate that, but
I agree.
it might affect you.
Okay.
And then another one along those lines, just the parking spaces. I know there's some requirements for obstructions next to the stripe from the space, and that, it looks like that may be.
Are you next to the column?
Yes. If you haven't accounted for that, just a,
Are you talking about like additional width for a parking stall when it's next to a vertical?
exactly, yeah, there's a 1
Yeah,
foot.
we have accounted for that with transportation. So there are some spaces that would otherwise be compact spaces that are now
Okay.
9 feet wide. Same thing, 9-foot spaces that are now 10 feet wide.
Got it.
I don't think that we would have been able to get here for PDA without the Transportation Planning Department reviewing our enlarged parking plan. We had significant comments on the first application that we've worked through.
I think, just sorry to further that, I think roughly a third of the spaces are compact, and that's what's helped us get that extra width. It's an extra width on a compact space.
Good. Let's see, very similar to the bike parking, there was an access into the bike parking. I think it was maybe, you were showing 5.5 feet. Just wanted to make sure that was resolved. I think the
Okay.
regulations are 7.
Understood in the back. Okay.
Yeah, maybe a 7-foot aisle, I believe.
Okay.
But just something that, and I'm bringing these up just because they
I
might
appreciate it. Thank you.
changes. Then if you go to an elevation, just the front elevation of the commercial. Maybe just a typo, or not a typo, but a graphic miss. You do intend to have lights at each column between the bays of the commercial, a fixture?
Yes. Sorry, here and here?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And is that space, you said it's existing, so you're not really changing the construction of it?
The opposite, actually. It's all new construction now.
Okay, that's new. And do
Yes.
you have an opportunity to get some depth in the storefronts?
Yes, so we have an opportunity to get depth. I think if you're talking about the wall thickness.
Exactly.
And adding shadow and
Yep.
kind of making it feel more punched out of that wall.
Yep.
Yes, we can, we have an opportunity to add there. We've simplified it from previous designs where the actual front of the building is less undulated.
Right.
More planar to match what's along the rest of Day Levinas. I think it was either Richard's, I think it might have been your comment at one point, sorry, Board Member 6's comment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that would be an improvement to, I didn't recall seeing it in plan that you were showing much depth to that wall, but if you could do that, it seems like it would be a nice add along that street. What else? Oh, right above that, the balcony that we talked about earlier, those corner posts, are those plaster or what are those?
No, those be intended to be wood.
Like a wood, yeah.
Or,
Yeah, I don't, that you're the designer again. I thought maybe just a rail, iron rail around the whole thing would be more appropriate, but you're the designer and I'll defer to the board.
Can you clarify, do you mean instead of a guard wall?
No, I'm sorry, just the corner posts on that up higher, 4th floor.
Oh.
Yeah, right there. Are those wood?
Yes.
Yeah. And the base is plaster with plaster corbels.
I understand. Okay, I understand the comment now.
Yeah.
Thank you for
That's
clarifying.
all, yeah. And then this is maybe something will get worked out. I know the rafter tail spacing seemed, pretty large in some places, but more normal in others. And, that may be something that gets worked out in your detailing, but.
Understood, thank you.
Yep. But other than that, sorry, there's a list, but I am supportive of the project as well. So those are my comments.
Okay, board members 6.
Yes, I think it's come a long way since the overactive gable-ended sides and all those cut-ups on the sides and so forth. You took our advice well to emphasize the horizontal and eliminate gables and eliminate a lot of the necessities, the ins and outs. But it's really stopped short to where it needs a lot more help. I noticed the sections and the 4th floor is from wall to wall a box, a continuous bearing plate, the same height as the lower floors. And, you can clip ceilings, you can bring that, you can do all kinds of, we typically suggest that vaulted ceilings or at least clip ceilings on that 4th floor is essential to bringing a boxy high building down to something that is more compatible. And I don't see, I don't know whether it's value engineering or whatever, but there's no attempt to articulate, no attempt first to lower or vary those perimeter eave heights. So I think that you have a long way and a lot of opportunity to lower the plate heights. As we've already sensed, the lowering the eave heights can increase the slope of the roof, the parapet roofs. You can have different languages above the balcony openings where the eaves set down on wood instead of the continuous plaster eave that you have. The eave itself, the overhang, can be a different expression, further out, or even drop the whole roof, all 3 sides of the balcony to get it down, or eliminate the overhang at the solid walls entirely, just have a molding. So you really have an opportunity here to really get make the horizontal expression sing and get variation to it. So it's going the right. You're taking the comments serious about horizontal expression, but it needs to come a long way. And it needs to go even further. I think that if we go to each of the elevations, we'll start with the street elevation. The depth of the commercial openings, there's on plan, I don't see any depth to these. I think that at least those depths should be as deep as the existing storefront and the existing left-hand building. It's about 2.5 or at least a foot or whatever. We got to have some depth and some mass to those walls. Now, and I alluded to this by asking what the line above the colonnade was between first and second, is that's just a molding. This, you know, this design doesn't work. You're trying to express a very different form above on the second floor, and from the first floor, and there's no relief. Either you've got to show an entirely different design which marries the two up and down, or set back the second floor significantly, 2 or 3 feet. So, you know, you see the difference between what you're doing in the first floor and what you're doing in the second floor. You know, and here, the same comment about eave variation and so forth. You know, the second floor eave is continuing straight across. Is there a way to vary that, express it over the balconies further out, or moldings or whatever? Just vary it. Reason I ask on the fourth floor, the balcony, you know, there's another opportunity for a significant roof above that balcony, which was in the previous plan. If we go next to the southeast elevation, are we there? Yes. So first of all, I noticed turning the corner on the stairwell to the right, around the corner, there's unprotected openings to the property line. Can this stair be open?
Can you repeat, sorry, can you repeat that question?
Go to your northeast elevation. The one on the back. See these, right where your hand is, bingo. See those little openings? Those unprotected openings, right? So does that mean that you can have that stairway unprotected from the property line? And if so, can this stairway not have white walls going all the way up to the parapet height? Can it be open? And really radically cut the corner out of your white box.
I think the correct answer is it needs to be protected, so.
Yeah, so those openings are in air.
Well, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
So it's either open it up more or close it off, is the comment?
Entirely open. If you don't have the requirement for setback, I think you do. But if you don't, then you can have an exposed stair there without the white corner. Okay, let's see. And then, let's go back to the southeast elevation again. Even if it needs to be protected and completely enclosed, I don't know if you have to enclose it on this side. You can have a continuous and have a much more open feel, a very different feel from this stairway and this, and expose a lot of the stairway and so forth. A continuous tall opening there, my suggestion. The windows throughout, they're the wrong proportions. They're square. They should be more traditional proportions. The 3 small little windows that I referred to before, I think there's somehow, you know, your dark, thick lines don't, if those are revealed joints, I don't think it works. And, you know, the horizontal band at the flat surface on the right-hand side, that little band doesn't work. It's just, you know, you gotta clean that up. The swoop that incorporates the exterior door from the stair on the first floor, that should be instead of a semicircle, that should have a traditional, sophisticated shape. And again, you know, obviously the same comment about the indent of the commercial windows. Um, And it seems to me that you could, on the, excuse me, let's go to the northwest elevation, that you could simplify that very low and awkward sloped roof, tile roof at the, the left hand, yeah. You just raise the parapet slightly or whatever and just have a clean wall. Yeah, let's go back, Mr. Walker, to your overall elevations that show the tree. So we all understand what's happening there. So that right there, that's a low wall, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty low. So could it be a little higher and engulf the a parapeted roof above the bike storage area and simplify your problem there? Suggestion. Never. That's so. Bottom line, I think this, in my view, this needs another round of preliminary review.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chair Whalen?
Thank you, Chair Anderson. Well, I had thought that this was ready for project design approval until Mr. Six pointed out all the areas. I appreciate everything that he said and all the details that you've added, the recesses, the sophisticated hipped roofs on the towers. I think the design is developing nicely. I do agree with some of the linear expressions from De La Vina of that second floor eave can be broken up. In general, the massing and details do need to be broken up. I agree with the disposition of the window proportions, that they should be more historic in character. I do find that bike storage room is the most inconvenient location for bicyclists. I mean, they're going to come down the Paseo walkway, zoom against traffic through the parking lot to wedge their bike into a corner and then walk all the way back to the elevator. If those two, the bike storage area and the elevator, were more closely related, I think you'd have a better internal circulation. I'm particularly sensitive to bicycles intruding upon pedestrian walkways. And in this case, it's both the pedestrian and the vehicular. Perhaps you could switch out a parking space for that bicycle storage room.
Thank you.
Other than that, I agree with many of the details that Member Six pointed out. Thank you.
Yeah, I also agree with a lot of the comments that have been mentioned, and I think that if we can accommodate you guys to come back for PDA one more time before the deadline, then I think that would be appropriate. There's a lot of these comments I feel like can be accounted for. I mean, simple things like looking at the fourth floor top of plate, dropping that, right? All of a sudden, it's gonna feel better. The proportions of the windows narrower with the same height, if you need that height, then that's gonna feel better. There's really like simple moves that I think if you can accommodate in the time frame, then we can find project design approval. The little Paseo entry into your parking, I think it should match your other arched entries that aren't arched, but arched. And then, I think that was your elevator tower, making it maybe a little bit taller, doing a 4 and 12 pitch on the roof, hiding your mechanical. I mean, these are very like simple moves that I think will satisfy the direction of the mass bulk and scale for this project. And as mentioned, like the traditional details, so look at the arch of the actual arc of the art, you know, the slopes that are used. And then, and really, and maybe if you don't have the actual details next time, but make sure we're calling out what is metal, what is wood, what is not. You can do a preliminary analysis on thickness of your walkways and even a hand sketch of a detail of the direction you're going if time is of essence. So I think everything that was been said is actually really going to improve the project, and I think it's a very good direction to take the project and to get PDA the next time. Does that sound fair? Yeah, go for it.
I'm prepared.
Sorry, I'm just getting a call from management. Through the chair to Board Member Anderson, I'm going to need you to step down, recuse yourself formally, and leave the dais. So,
I'm recusing
sorry.
myself formally.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Sorry.
And is there a specific date that we can accommodate?
Yeah, I was looking if we could continue to a date certain of August 31st or September 14th. Those will kind of get us in under the. You said August 31st? Correct.
Or
September
September
14th.
I'll look at you. You think you could say which one? I feel like, I think we're okay. I think we're okay based on the comments I heard.
Just add those palm trees.
Yeah.
No, I think we typically put it in the motion.
Yeah, it
Would
needs to be
my
part of the
preference.
motion.
Yeah, we're going to do it to a date certain for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, do you want to do a quick recess?
Like
or
what happens if you do need more time? Oh yeah. So if you need more time for project design approval, please stop me. But it's a postponement fee. You'd be like not scheduled for that hearing, and then you potentially be able to get on the next one.
Yeah, we could continue to a date certain of August 31st, and if you need to postpone to the following meeting, we could postpone. There is a small fee, just so you're aware.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Go for it.
Can I
Okay.
sort of make a comment or just a question of the board in general? I think you brought up, Richard, a comment about S-tiles versus traditional cap and pan. I personally have a problem with S-tiles, and I just think the project would be a lot more authentic without them. So might want to bring that up at some point.
So that's interesting. Can we demand full vault tiles, full barrel?
You can make a suggestion for what you would like to see when you come back, but ultimately, it's a housing project, so they have more protections than.
Okay. So I will make a motion for a continuance to August 31st of this year with the following comments: that the project has come a long ways in simplification and emphasizing the horizontal. And number two, we need to find more opportunities for variations in the fourth floor eave lines and overhangs to bring more variation and interest to those to that eve with a including an effort to manipulate the four-story box to lower the eaves significantly, and and in doing so, increase the pitch of the slope of the mansard. We have, we need to find, the typical windows proportions need to be more historic in nature, vertical rectangle instead of the square shown. The depth of the commercial openings on the southwest elevation and the around the corner need to be significantly increased. The relationship between the first and second floor of the southwest elevation need to not be in the same plane, significantly 2 or 3 feet back from the second floor, 2 and 3 feet back from the first floor, or another design theme that makes sense with flush walls on both floors. The cantilevered balconies and courtyard walkways need to are very thick and need to have some resolve to their vertical. Back up. The plaster base at the cantilever balconies and courtyard walkways are too thick vertically and need to have some either thinner or some kind of recessed molding that steps it back to, yes, end of description. And we understand the planting strip in the middle of the garage entries cannot be expanded, but strongly suggest palm trees or other vertical vegetation that would help soften that area. And the board strongly recommends full barrel two-piece mission tile rather than S-tile. I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
Well, I'll second that with the following additions, that the mechanical well heights be increased so that they better obscure the equipment. The pedestrian path around the trash bins may require ADA examination for their compliance. The bike storage is inconvenient to the vertical circulation. You should examine relocating that. And that the rafter tail spacing be decreased. And investigate the fire code as to the stairwell being open on the property line, and investigate or study raising the garage wall at the Mission Street so that it has raise the height on it. I think those are from my notes.
Raise the height to include a flat roof above.
On the bike storage, yes. If those are acceptable.
Yes, and additionally, we will be looking carefully at the amount of recess in your typical windows throughout to achieve the stop it.
I don't know, this isn't part of the motion, but I think it'd be extremely helpful if you generated some three-dimensional images of the project. It's difficult to understand spatially, and you may not even see those pitched roofs from De La Vina, so not part of my motion.
So I will accept your additions to the motion, except for the last requiring the 3D model.
Okay.
Wasn't part of the motion.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
I do. On the bike storage, was it a consideration directive?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I just had a discussion. I assume that this is going to be killed as soon as it's mentioned, but I felt that, and I'm supportive of the project, as I mentioned. I did feel that it was, per our direction previously, that they came far enough to get PDA. And most of these comments were more directed towards detailing. I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't see a reason we couldn't give them PDA and just sort out the details, the specifics of the details later. But
Yeah, I think I'll chime in. I think I was originally on the same page as you, and as we started discussing, like, if we can lower the fourth floor plate height, I mean, that can change the feel of the mass. If we're adding back a cover over the balcony in the front, that changes the feeling of the mass. If we're looking at the second floor above the first floor, right, you know, where you have your storefront and then you have residential right above and not in the same plane, that all of a sudden changes the mass as well. And so at that point, then I felt like I can no longer support mass bulk and scale. And so I do think these comments are going to improve the project. And so that's why I would support them coming back for PDA.
is there a maybe, so I can support them and us?
Maybe.
I'm kidding.
Well, yeah, I don't know how we can, yeah, if we were to say PDA, these would all be conditions. Like, you will lower the fourth floor, and you can't come back and prove that you can't do that, because that's not taking away any kind of residential unit. Like, you will change the angle, you know, you will be doing these things, so.
I don't have any exceptions to any of the
Okay.
conditions. Right. I don't have any exceptions to any of the comments you put in the motion, and if we made those conditions, I would be accepting of that, and I think the client would too.
My one question to staff would be if there were any changes. We encountered this on a project in Goleta, and it bit us in the you-know-what after the fact of having to do a SCD, which I don't think that would trigger potentially. I guess I'm just concerned if there was anything that changed the specifications of our concessions or waivers with regard to vehicle parking, the numbers there.
I don't think so. I think we should take a vote on this motion, and then if it fails, try
Okay,
something
that sounds
else.
good. Let's take a vote.
Okay, to continue the project to date certain August 31st. Here we go. Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wendland,
Yes.
Board Member Black,
Yes.
Board Member Noon,
No.
and Board Member Six.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Okay. All right, and thank you. We will see you on the 31st.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Stay cool.
Does
Do you want to
Mr.
say why
does
you
Mr.
noted no?
The reason I said no was not that I wasn't supporting the project. I was supporting the project for PDA.
Yeah, understood. Thank you so much. All right, we will adjourn our meeting for today.
Thank you.